The palm trees swayed, the sun glinted off the pool. The Menendez family home in Beverly Hills was a picture of California dream living. Jose Menendez, a Cuban immigrant, had found success in the cutthroat world of Hollywood. His wife, Mary Louise, known as Kitty, was beautiful and elegant. They had 2 sons, Lyle the eldest and Erik the younger. To the outside world, the Menendez family had it all. But behind the facade of wealth and privilege, a darkness festered. Whispers of Jose's ruthless ambition and Kitty's fragile mental state circulated among those who knew them. Erik and Lyle, while outwardly privileged, lived under the weight of their parents' expectations. Their lives were a carefully constructed performance, the pressure to maintain the perfect image immense. The brothers, bound by their shared secret, retreated further into themselves. Lyle, once a promising tennis player, struggled with the burden of being the golden boy. Erik, more sensitive and introverted, found solace in creative writing, pouring his anguish onto the page. The idyllic life they presented to the world was a lie, a carefully constructed facade masking the turmoil that raged beneath the surface. The pressure mounted, the resentment grew, the seeds of a horrific act were sown, fertilized by despair and watered with unspeakable secrets. The seemingly perfect family portrait was about to be ripped apart, its edges blackened by the flames of rage and violence. The Menendez family, living a lie, was about to become a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that even in the sunshine of California, darkness can bloom. The night was hot, heavy with the scent of jasmine. Inside the den of the Menendez mansion, the air crackled with tension. No one outside the sprawling estate could have imagined the carnage that was about to unfold. Gunshots, loud, sharp, echoing through the cavernous house. Again and again the sound of gunfire ripped through the stillness. Jose and Kitty Menendez, caught completely off guard, didn't stand a chance. Their bodies, riddled with bullets, slumped on the floor, their blood staining the plush white carpet a gruesome crimson. The perpetrators? Their sons. Lyle, his face a mask of cold determination, and Erik trembling, almost unable to hold the shotgun. Panic set in. The brothers, their clothes splattered with their parents' blood, moved quickly. They needed to cover their tracks, make it look like someone else had been there. They scattered spent shotgun shells, a desperate attempt to stage a mob hit. Then, grabbing their wallets and a preposterous alibi, they fled. They drove, the engine noise a deafening counterpoint to the silent screams in their heads. They disposed of the shotguns, the tools of their horrific act, tossing them into a ravine off a winding canyon road. Their plan? To create enough doubt, enough confusion to escape justice. But even as they drove away, the weight of what they had done settled upon them. They were no longer sons but murderers, forever bound by the blood they had spilled. Detectives swarmed the crime scene. The brutality of the murders, the sheer number of shots fired, pointed towards a professional hit. The Menendez brothers, returning home to discover the bodies, played the part of grieving sons to chilling perfection. They wept, they raged, they comforted each other. For a while it seemed their performance would work. But the whispers started. Detectives, hardened by years of dealing with the dark side of humanity, noticed inconsistencies. The brothers' grief seemed performative, their alibis flimsy, their spending, extravagant even by Beverly Hills standards, raised red flags. Where was the money coming from? The investigation intensified. Detectives dug deeper, uncovering a trail of resentment and rage. Erik, seeking solace in therapy, confessed his darkest secret to his psychologist. The psychologist, bound by confidentiality, confided in his mistress. She, in a move that would have profound consequences, went to the police. The net was closing in. The trial of Lyle and Erik Menendez was a media sensation. Cameras crowded the courtroom, eager to capture every tear, every outburst, every whispered word. The brothers, once poster boys for wealth and privilege, were now the subjects of intense scrutiny. Their faces, splashed across newspapers and television screens, became synonymous with the dark side of the American dream. The defense, led by the flamboyant Leslie Abramson, painted a picture of 2 young men driven to desperate measures by years of abuse. They argued that Jose and Kitty Menendez were monsters, their cruelty driving their sons to commit an act of self-defense. The prosecution, however, presented a very different narrative. They argued that the murders were motivated not by fear, but by greed, a cold and calculated plan to inherit the family fortune. The jury, torn between these 2 competing narratives, deadlocked. a mistrial was declared. The case, however, was far from over. The prosecution, sensing an opportunity to secure a conviction, decided to retry the brothers. This time, the cameras were barred from the courtroom. The second jury, shielded from the glare of the media spotlight, would ultimately decide the fate of Lyle and Erik Menendez. The Menendez brothers' case left an indelible mark on the American justice system and the public's perception of familial bonds. As we look back, we are reminded of the complexities and tragedies that can lie beneath the surface of privilege and pain. The media frenzy surrounding the trials exposed the deep-seated fascination with crime and punishment in American culture. The brothers' story, filled with shocking twists and emotional testimonies, captivated the nation and sparked debates on issues ranging from domestic abuse to the ethics of media coverage in high-profile cases. Beyond the courtroom, the Menendez case forced a reckoning with the notion that wealth and status could mask profound dysfunction. It challenged the public to reconsider preconceived notions about the so-called perfect family, and to acknowledge that no amount of privilege can shield one from the ravages of trauma and abuse. The impact of the case reverberated through the legal community as well. It highlighted the difficulties in balancing a fair trial with the public's right to know, and the potential biases that media coverage can introduce. The decision to bar cameras from the second trial was a direct response to these concerns, a move that continues to influence how high-profile cases are managed today. Decades later, the Menendez brothers remain a topic of intrigue and controversy. Their story serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of familial relationships and the lengths to which individuals might go when pushed to their breaking point. As we reflect on this case, we are confronted with the uncomfortable truth that beneath the veneer of wealth and success, there can exist a world of pain and desperation. It is a sobering reminder that the pursuit of justice is often fraught with complexity, and that the stories we tell about crime and punishment reveal as much about our society as they do about the individuals involved.